We all know that back in 2017 in Journey Beyond Sodor, Mattel redesigned the Trackmaster couplings into this, which is what they're currently using for their All Engines Go range right now. And here's the old coupling style they used to use, not unlike that of play rails, which is still used today because, well, it works. But that's not why you're here. You're here because you've been asking for it, and now you get to see this. Those of you who have seen my previous custom showcases noticed that, well, just about every piece of rolling stock I've featured there has a unique Knuckle style coupler that looks 3D printed. Well, it is. And where did I come up with that idea? You can thank both All Engines Go and The Great Race for that. Vinny from the original series film The Great Race, and both Thomas and Gordon from All Engines Go. The beige colored couplers were the earlier versions, which means that they were made first before I decided to switch to the blue ones as by default. Mainly because I wanted to branch out. Still, as you can see, there are two variations. Well, two main ones anyway. Ones which fit the front couplers of the trucks and a more generic rear coupler, which is almost universal to every other engine with a compatible slot. This coupler is different in that it has a thinner stem connecting it to the loop, which mounts it to the car. It allows for tighter turning on fittings with more issues with rotation clearance. But here, it works just as well as the earlier model, with literally no change, aside from tolerance issues. After all, it's 3D printing. I don't have any Play-Row tracks, but all the Trackmaster 1 stuff works pretty fine with the couplings, and they have plenty of turning clearance. Not so much on the Trackmaster 2 track, but with the Trackmaster 2 stock, it works just as well. As you can see, the part of the coupling that allows it to work with another is pretty much identical across all of them, with the only differences being the mounting points. Each one can connect to each other just fine, but you can also connect them if they're the same design. This allows for something that you can't do with the stock Trackmaster or Play-Row couplings. You can couple up these things back to back or front to front without any cheats. That being said though, some of these things droop so low that they'll catch on the track when pushed. So, it's something to look out for. The front coupling you currently see on Thomas was originally designed for something else entirely. But it didn't work out, so I decided to transplant it over a coupling design that I already tried on Thomas, which also didn't work out. So here it is where we want to see, and in addition to the coupling head working with everything else, it has another function. It's a two-piece design, so it can rotate as well, which helps a lot when it comes to navigating curves. In The Great Race, Vinny from North America had a knuckle coupler, which means he couldn't couple up to rolling stock from the island of Sodor or Great Britain easily. How he competed in the Great Railway Show was because he had a pin on top which allowed a chain to hook onto him. This is what I've tried to replicate here by putting a metal pin on top of this coupler on James's tender. Both Molly and Salty also have this type of coupler. Henry here is shown sporting my second variation, which is also shared with Gordon, Emily, and another mystery custom which I might showcase later. This one? Just blue plastic and a toothpick. That's not much there is to say about it otherwise. Both Kenji, pictured here, and Harvey, who is still in storage, have the special extended version of the coupler. It's basically the same as that skinny rod coupler I showcased earlier in the video, but longer so that coupler can clear the upper shell and actually rotate. Sometimes, you just gotta work on the fly. For the final unique coupler variation I'm showing in this video, we have this simple loop which is connected by a twisted chain link. This is for some unconventional connections and is used by Lexi, Puffa, who I'll showcase in a future video, and a number of my original characters. Most modern Trackmaster stock, particularly after 2017 by Mattel, have become infamous for having molded rear couplings, which means there was quite a lot of cutting to do if you wanted to install classic style couplers. When I had to install my couplers, I had to do the same. And as you can see here, it's not that hard provided you have the right tools. Particularly a rotary tool with a cutting bit. On the front, which you can tell because of the notch pulled there for the original coupler, it was pretty much the same deal. Because, well, my couplers are a little too fat for the pre-provided slot. So, it was again in with the rotary tool. Just be careful when you try this for yourself. Now, you might be wondering why I have Bruno in front here, having already talked about it. Well, he's just gonna serve as the demo model for this little showcase. My designs for my rolling stock and engines are designed to be compatible with the stock couplers provided by Mattel and Takara Tomy. If you're wondering, the latter make the play rail range. My first chassis and my current ones were designed to be compatible with stock Trackmaster couplings in mind. So if you do the transfer right, the knuckle couplers will slip right off my chassis, and you can slide a Trackmaster 1 or 2 rear coupling in there. So for this front section, you're going to need a Trackmaster 2 or a post-2017 Mattel truck coupling to fit there after a little trimming. But there are some alternatives if you are looking for them. Once the switch is done, you can now put Bruno at the end of a Trackmaster consist which has the stock couplers, and the same with most Playrail releases. And due to the nature of my design, you can place whichever coupler in whichever way you want. And that's where the fun begins and ends. Now that we've seen everything, it's time for a run. And that concludes my custom knuckle coupler showcase. Now normally, most YouTubers will tell you to like, comment, and subscribe, but I just hope you liked it, and remember the rules of the fandom when you leave and explore the rest of the fan base. Be polite, stay civil, and avoid very harsh language against people who don't deserve it. Because Lord knows the fandom's a hornet's nest nowadays. Credits will be listed in the description below.